And I saw the machinations of darkness. And I saw what I term as mutation. Mutation. I said, what form of intelligence is this? I saw a man prophesying with power and preaching against immorality. And the next step, the same man is committing immorality. I now said, this is against the law of the spirit. Light and darkness cannot cohabit. What form of wisdom is this? So the devil is not fighting the man who is hungry for God. The devil just wants to create an occasion where the man can add darkness to light. And he calls it mutation. And that is the first that will disqualify the army of God. Because you are neither hot nor cold, I will spit you out of my mouth. So it is not even the devil that will disqualify you. God will reject you. Because you are a combination of light and darkness. The first healing tonight will begin from the soul. Because it's corruption. That he quoted the scripture. He said, in the land of Zabulon, in the land of Naphtali, by the way of the sea beyond Jordan, Galilee of the Gentile, the people that sat in darkness. That's what it means. More than 80% of the young preachers are compromised. Are compromised. We know what to do to move fire. And we also know how to perfect secrets that are detestable before the Holy One of Israel. Mutation. So at the end of the day, when the roll is called, many will not be there. This is what makes men come to the Lord and they say, away from me, you workers of iniquity. They know how to combine light and darkness. And I looked again and I saw another mystery. He called it dislocation. So men who have embellished ambition, he allowed them with their hunger and they pressed until suddenly I saw evangelists becoming politicians. And I saw intercessors becoming evangelists. And I saw apostles becoming merchants. And I said, what is this? He said, so that men will run in a track that God did not design for them. And if you are in the wrong direction, speed is not an advantage. So you will run and finish first. But when you run, they will tell you this is not your track. You have built strength, you have built stamina, but you ran on the wrong track. You didn't participate in the race. When you come, they'll say, where are you from? Who are you? Kadosh, Kadosh, you are mighty on your throne. Media is supposed to be a tool of advancing kingdom, but it has become a tool of disqualifying many. Because many are called into ministry by Facebook. It's about like and followership. But no man can isolate the counsel of God. There's no testimony. We are quoting men, quoting their rhymes. A man can score your message, but he doesn't have the life that the message communicates. Darkness. You reign, you reign, you reign, you reign, Kadosh. You are mighty on your throne. I said, why did the fathers get it right? He said, because they only did what God told them. We have ability, but we are not yielded. How did they succeed? They were comfortable with what God told them. So a man is comfortable if he's not known all his life. The only thing that makes him happy is when he comes to the place of prayer and he can interact with the presence. The presence was their focus. So if a man comes to preach and he can't find the presence, preaching ends until he finds the presence. Because he's not an orator. He's a communicator of life. He's a witness of truth. He's a custodian of essence of God. We are not concerned about matters of the spirit. We are concerned about earthly and mundane things. Because our soul structure have been covered with darkness. Almighty on your throne. And yet again I saw another dark mystery in the spirit, and it's distraction. It's not a sin. Everybody prides himself to claim to be holy. But there is something that depletes our energy. It's called distraction. So the guy prays in tongues for 4 hours. He diffuses it in 10 minutes. And then he follows a cycle. He takes one step forward, he takes 3 steps backward. He takes 1 step forward, he takes 3 steps backward. By the time he runs for 1 year, he is many miles behind where he started from. And then he thinks he's running, but he's actually going through a cycle that takes him backward. So by the time we become old, we'll realize that we didn't make progress. And I began to entreat the Lord, first for myself. I said, Lord, help me, help me, help me. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And he said, lift up your eyes from where you are now and see. And my mind went to the scriptures in Genesis 13 verse 14. And he said from verse 10 that Lot lifted up his eyes and he saw the plains of Sodom and Gomorrah, that they were green. And he chose that part. But at the end of the day, it became a ground of desolation. But Abraham waited until God said, lift up your eyes. And he looked north, south, east, and west. And God gave him the whole world. So he said the only way to succeed is not to move until God speaks. He said it kills ambition. It kills corruption. If you know you can't step until God speaks, you may not be too quick to move. I saw the reason why in Mark 1:35, he said, a great while in the morning, Jesus went to a solitary place. There he prayed. If you know that you can take the wrong step, then you will not move until God speaks. So some people may have to begin their day by 12 p.m. to be accurate. You are mighty on your throne. This is not condemnation, brothers and sisters. It's an alarm in the spirit. Adosh, you are mighty on your throne. They looked unto him and they were radiant. They were not ashamed. Their faces were radiant. The first way to survive is to know how to look. Is to know how to look. Because when you look upon the mountains of God, it will turn your eyes from your affliction. And then you will enter where your destiny is resolved. So Paul said in 2 Corinthians 4:17, our light affliction are but for a moment. It brings you an understanding that what is happening now cannot characterize your life. This is where sickness becomes one of the things that will be handled cheaply. This is where poverty becomes one of the things that will be handled cheaply. This is where afflictions becomes one of the things that will be handled cheaply, because we know that our light affliction. How did we come about that knowledge? We have seen a slate that is in eternity. We lifted our eyes. They work for us an exceeding weight of glory, while we look not at the things which are seen. And even in this service, most of you will have to look away from your sickness, because by the time you turn back, it will no longer be there. I'm telling you, because the reason most people fail is because of sickness.
We believe you are blessed. Please kindly subscribe to Spirit Flame Media for more edifying content.